Okay. Welcome everybody to our Tuesday continuing education series. Every Tuesday we're here at 3 Hawaiian, which is 6 Pacific. I never get that straight. And we are on, this sits in a library with playlists you have access to if you're one of our customers or my web subscriber or whatever, newsletter subscriber. And I think we're on, what is this class number, what, Kelly, 7 or 8? So we go through about 12 different topics and then we'll repeat them. But we are recording these so that way, at least this first series, we get requests to, many people can't come at this time. So it's a lot to cover today. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share right away here and we'll dive on in. Don't laugh at my laptop. Oops. Okay. So we are talking about, no, stop it. We are talking about, where did that my little PowerPoint go? Women's health and hormones. And I went ahead, because teenagers are very dear to my heart, I teach them in dance. Actually, I'll go ahead and use this. There's a couple of spacing issues which bug me, but just bear with it. Okay. So women's health and hormones, which is very dear to my heart because, hello, I'm 46. But also I have 2 daughters, and so and I teach teenagers dance. I wanted to jump a little bit into the preteen teen mode too, because I hear it every week from friends of mine that have children too, that age. My oldest is just approaching preteen, and then definitely into women's health. So my name is Daniella. This is my, what is Essential Shine? This is my, since 2012, have I been repping doTERRA, selling doTERRA. So, my background before that is in health and wellness, a dance teacher and personal trainer and fitness teacher, and then years and years in and out of the service industry to support it all in between all the entrepreneurial efforts. But this is my main gig, has been, I think 9 years now. And so I'm not a doctor or healthcare provider. I will talk about this in here, but I do know what I have used very powerfully for myself with doTERRA and my girls, and we'll dive into that. Okay, so let's start with the preteens, teens. How do I shrink you guys? Let me move you over here. Move these over here. There we go. Okay, so preteen teens, what I thought was interesting is that, and so sorry about the spacing issues on some of this type, but basically over the years, I believe in my study for natural health, you know, the puberty has come to an earlier age. So all of a sudden you can see here, dropped to about 10 and a half is now, right? Or I should say by 2010. I believe it's just due to, and I, you know, everybody has their own opinion here, but just watching our farming, the invention of plastics, like, and just our exposure to anything that is a threat, which there's so many threats to the body, right? So over the years, they're getting younger. But the good news is and so these are the symptoms, right? Oh, headaches is cut off. But the good news is that we definitely have powerful tools and powerful aid to support that. So that's what we're gonna dive into. So typically acne, irritability, mood swings. I mean, Heather has a teenager. Kelly, do you have teenagers? Are your boys teens? One of them is.
My oldest is going to be 11.
11. Oh no, okay, my age kids. Okay, yeah, but most of you I talk to have teenagers, or had teenagers too. Development, which I see. So my oldest is going into 4th grade, and I see all this stuff in the tweens, right? Period, insomnia, sleep patterns, depression, anxiety. It goes on and on. So here's a couple suggestions. I don't have an extensive part on this, but here's a couple suggestions for the girls and the boys. And I have another slide coming too, but here's some oil suggestions. For skin, you can see, and I will fix the typos and make this available in Google Drive. So you don't need to, if you want a screenshot or do whatever you want to have it today, but I can follow up easy for anybody to attach this. So you can have this PowerPoint to refer to. But definitely these oils are super powerful and helpful. I know for myself and my girls. My girls have all of these. Intune is the only one that they don't use yet because they're so young, but or Clary Calm quite yet for Daisha, but definitely do my girls use tea tree, which we used to refer to as Melaleuca, same thing. Adaptive blend is incredible for everybody in the family and in 2020. Really interesting that blend was made. doTERRA was like right on point. Serenity for calming or deep calming when you're really stressed out or sleep. Intune for focus. Deep blue, definitely, or I would say deep blue touch, which is a little more inexpensive and diluted for the growing pains, the aches, the pains. Wild orange is a great oil mentioned for, because it's a great let's see, I can say this is recorded. It's a great anti-anxiety oil, wild orange and bergamot. They're the kind of citrus that actually even kill us out. So I think for the boys, a great, non-floral approach, but for the girls too. And then beadlets, I don't know why, but why not? Maybe bad breath is part of it too. I don't remember that part. And then I liked this too, because I do believe in an inside-out approach. Of course, I'm not a nutritionist. We'll get into a little bit of that later, but of course, what they intake is going to affect them and if they're hydrated and getting sleep. So there's that too. But if they can take pills, then our Lifelong Vitality Pack is a great choice, especially just taking these two, the omega complex, and it comes in a vegan form too, so if that's your concern, and that comes from an algae source, and just the food nutrient complex. They can just take those two. You can order those individually. And then if not, like my oldest is just approaching the tweenhood, but she doesn't take pills yet, so she'll take the chewables, and she'll take 2 a day. The probiotic is not mentioned, but gut health we know is related to emotional health, so we can't not say that too. So there's a kids PS. Okay, of course I'll have typos. PB Assist, not PS, or the probiotic for the adults. And then the oils there mentioned are some similar that you saw in the above picture, but I wanted to mention this for the just the extra support mentally and cell health wise that we need with good food and plenty of hydration to help support the cells. We can't just do oils on a body that needs basic vitamins, minerals, or omegas, let's say. So there's that. For us, before I move forward, I just have to say that the best reference for doTERRA, if you really want to deep dive, it's very extensive. I found it on eBay. It's been around for long enough that you could get a used version. I've heard Dr. Snyder present. We heard her present at our convention. And it's a brilliant book because she has the medical degree and dives deep. And she's referring to doTERRA specific supplements and oils in relation to hormones. So I would say this is the book that I refer when somebody comes to me and they're having issues beyond the basic or the basic steps into perimenopause, menopause, or teenhood. If it's really something that they need maybe some extra testing to look into, then she goes extensive, right? Or if you're just fascinated with the topic like I am because I'm in perimenopause, possibly menopause. And she has so many recipes and so many different reasons why each oil, diffuser recipes, and she has a lot of nutrition advice too. So I thought this was a great book, and I would say that would be the first one. Of course, your natural health care provider or your doctor, because we have to dive into why that, and your doTERRA specific education, because remember, our essential oils do not compare to anything else. So you cannot go and look up a recipe online and it gives an essential oil either like warning or this is how much. It has to be doTERRA specific because these are the most potent and the most pure that I've ever seen. So it really changes the recipe by far because you don't need as much and they're very powerful. So you don't want to use as much at a time, right? That points me to our class that's every Wednesday. It's not recorded, but every Wednesday at 2 Hawaiian, 5 Pacific, we do 101 class. And we cater to anybody who shows up live, but it's the same class. And so those are just the basic usages if you need a brush up or you're just forgetting or want to learn more. So the first steps that I know I went to, this is about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and I just was going through a lot of emotional stuff. So of course I thought it's got to be hormonal. So I go in for my regular checkup, and now I go to my midwives that had Daisha. I go to a natural health care provider, but I see a regular doctor too, as need be, for just because my insurance covers that. So I'll see that if I need a checkup, if I, is this strep throat? What is this, but she suggests a complete blood panel. And then she's got, I would say start with that and talk to your doctor about the specifics of testing specific hormones, because it's going to depend on perhaps what you're experiencing too. And I don't know exactly which hormone does what and all of that. But sorry, there's a page here. She talks about the specific testing in her book. I'm happy to share that page if you need later, because there's specific things to dive into based on your symptoms too. But that, for me, a basic blood panel was so helpful. So every year when I go in for my physical, and then we do a blood panel, and I'm always asking, am I there yet? Am I there yet? So I'm so late. I need to do my pap smear and my mammogram and then get my blood panel done. It's been, I let it slip last year, so it's time. So I'll check it out, and I bet you I'm going to see some changes in my hormones, which is so great because it gives us wisdom. And then with those deficiencies or over producing, we can then go in and easily go find some natural care. I'm not against meds either if you need them, but maybe both. But start naturally perhaps, and then go from there. What I found fascinating about her presentation was that it just had to do with homeostasis. And if we keep our bodies in homeostasis, that to me was the basic of her book and the basic of her presentation, which really combats so many major diseases, well, at least in preventative mode, especially, is that if you it's all the things that we want to practice in prevention before we get there, right? So I have never run this slow in my life. And it has to do, and it kicks up all kinds of healing work that I have to constantly do emotionally, because it really makes me be way more efficient. There's less on the list every day. I was just laying down for 20 minutes because I just needed to catch my breath for a second, so anyway, so I think slowing down, stress, and trusting that, right? So designing your schedule, sit down with your partner, your husband, your wife, or just by yourself with your kids, and design a schedule that's not so full. We Americans are so nuts, and that we just have to achieve and go and do and be. And it's like, okay, it took my 40s to calm down. Stress management, of course, right? So then working with that. I think that stretching and some kind of sweating a couple days a week is important. Light stretching and just walking. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but I notice a big difference if I don't sweat at least once to twice a week in some kind of, your liver loves it. It flushes it out, right? So that, I believe in pausing. So whether it's meditation or prayer or just silence. I have a dear auntie who knits. She knits. So she still can't really sit still, right, in her 60s, but she knits, and to her, it's her meditation. And there's a printable I put on my blog. It's this ugly PDF graphic at the top of my blog, but you can print it, and you can set up your bookending your days, or basically setting up little things that you do. I have blog posts on it because I love doing it, where you're setting up these touching points to just breathe. I read a great article 2 days ago about the importance of a longer exhale, and that resetting your whole nervous system. And so just taking 1 to 2 minutes when you start to feel the overwhelm, and it's a 4 count in and 6 counts out for even just 4 times. I'll add that to a blog post coming up. That was fascinating to me. And I was thinking about that because often I'm just like, I just want to exhale. And there was an article that a friend sent me. Getting your sleep. I'm nuts about sleep in this house. My kids know they can stay up late with their dad, not me. I have to sleep. And if I don't get my sleep, I'm nuts. So getting your sleep and knowing what you need. Sometimes I need 9 hours. Sometimes 8 is okay. I typically can't really run on 7 myself sometimes, but anyway, everybody's different. Of course, nutrition, that's not my forte. You can talk to Heather about that. And Alex and many other people that are way better at that than me. And hydration, right? It's so important to stay hydrated, especially during the summer months. Okay, so those are some pointers that I know I've learned that are vital for me. Here's a couple wonderful blends that Dr. Marisa has made, and I think these are so yummy. And I know that we all went home after her presentation and everybody had that we all had our Superwoman rollerball. These oils are so amazing. And if you go in and look them up in your books individually, you can see why. But definitely so good for hormonal support. Yeah, or just buying for PMS, that I'll get to it, but Clary Calm is there. Okay, so let's dive into just the more women's portion. So on a scale of 1 to 10, no being no unwanted symptoms, and 10 being like out of control, how is your monthly cycle? Or if you're peri or you're postmenopausal, how are your symptoms? So are there areas of hormonal balance that are difficult for you? So, hyper or hypothyroid, adrenal fatigue, difficulty losing weight or difficulty gaining weight, mood swings, trouble sleeping, infertility, if that's something on your mind, memory, so there's all kinds of symptoms, right? And some of them very normal, hot, sweaty, all the things that are very typical as well. Hot flashes. It's like this extended PMS really, right? In this perimenopause, menopause. But I would say catering to them, if you can get through your days kind of like you would a normal period cycle, and you just know you have to slow down or get more sleep, or you're like telling everybody, don't talk to me for 5 days, I think if you can get through your life, then using your oils and your supplements. But if it's hindering where it's chronic and you can't, weeks add up and then months add up and it's really hindering you, I would take a deep dive look for sure. Just a nod to our female reproductive system, or everything it includes there, especially with our endocrine system. Our ovaries secrete the estrogen and the progesterone, which are crucial for fertility, but also play a key role in our emotional and physical health. So catering to our endocrine system and our ovaries, and nutrition and hydration, of course, we talked about. Here are some more recommended products. I dove into some of these. The next slide, coming up, there is a kit that includes Clary Calm, the bone nutrient. So it includes these 3 things. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So there's a kit you can get that have all 3, and that's how I order those myself, except I end up ordering Clary Calm by itself too, because I run out of that quick. But just having a foundation of your vitamins, minerals, and then our LPCRS, that is super support for the cell. And to me, that's like my cellular energy. And I notice a big difference when I don't take that, especially too. So that comes in a vegan or regular, if you don't have a supplement already daily. So the women's support is the bone nutrient. So, we start to lose that as we get older. So having bioavailability nutrition for men and women, necessary for bone integrity, strength, and overall health. And for those with weak or fragile bones, bone fractures, growing individuals. For me, I take 2 at night because that calcium magnesium calms me down too. I mean, probably we all know it's a great way for calm. So sometimes I'll take 1. So I have I should have showed you the old lady pill boxes, morning and evening, right? And maybe I have it in here. No, usually there's 1 in my purse. And then on my PM, sometimes I take 2 of the bone nutrient. So the phytoestrogen complex, so that's just a natural form of estrogen-like therapy. It's not actually estrogen. It assists to balance not only deficiency, but also any excess harmful estrogen metabolites, minimizes unwanted symptoms, helps minimize, right, with your cycle or where you are for menopause. Contains, I don't know if I say this right, but genistein, a fermented soy extract that promotes healthy breast tissue and brings balance to hormones in men and women. So I know men who've taken this. And if you want, what I love about S2 is logging into your account. And if you log on the product, we have, we're a transparent company, so you can click on the PDF that opens and you can read every single ingredient that's in it. So you can look that up. Soy extract, flaxseed extract, pomegranate fruit extract, and you can read more about that too. Rose. So she is, I realize she's a pricier oil. She's like frankincense though, in that she's just a powerhouse. So if you have and you're able to get rose or frankincense, maybe you cash in your points. You just rack it up, or you just put, you treat yourself. It lasts for a long time. They're very strong. But it's such a powerhouse oil like frankincense, emotional balance, boosts libido, if that's something that is starting to dwindle, promotes openness and confidence. And you can apply it like you would your Clary Calm over your abdomen for pain, discomfort, to promote regular ovulation or to ease that. I love all flower oils to help every feminine need. If you just think about the plants they come from, I'm always studying the botanical aspect too. Flowers are calm, they're rooted, they just sit there. They're not running around, they're not anxious, they're not worried, so they just sit there and bloom and receive. And so if you can think about stuff like that too when you're using your plants, I loved a presentation on flower oils once, and I love that aspect. Clary Calm is strong. I blow through this. I just realized I'm out of it right now, and I was like, dang it. Beautiful combination of plants. I'll just read you what's in it. So it has clary sage, lavender oil, bergamot, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, cedarwood, geranium, carrot seed oil, which is pricey, and palmarosa and vitex. It's pretty potent. I don't think you need a lot. I love it as my deodorant. I get compliments when I wear it, and then I rub it on my low back and over my abdomen. A good or sometimes on the back of my shoulders with my deep blue. Anyways, it does all the things. If you look up those plants individually again too, if you really want to learn, look up any of those plants individually, and it's never-ending education on what each plant does individually, which is like part of my favorite part of this job and why I still do it, because I'm always learning. It's fascinating. Okay, so let's talk about more things and why. The endocrine system directly involved in growth and development, metabolism, nutritional regulation, and overall homeostasis. A system of glands that produce and send hormones to targeted organs and tissues via the circulatory system. So that's important that that's cranking. Peppermint is really good for circulation, and so is cypress. Essential oils can be beneficial since they are circulated in the same way and profoundly benefit the cells they encounter in the process. So that's endocrine system. Your liver, healthy liver function is the underpinning of the hormone balance. So drinking plenty of water, which we talk about a million times. I love adding any citrus to my water. Any oil, and during the summer, I'll even do peppermint. Any oil that has the supplement facts on the bottle. If you like the taste of it, Slim and Sassy is so good. It's so complex. It has the spice and the citrus and the ginger in it. It's a delicious cup of tea as well. And then Zendocrine, that's a blend made for specific organ cleansing or organ purification. So Zendocrine comes in an essential oil blend that you could rub over organs, but you could get a soft gel and you could be taking that if that's something that you're thinking about. And then again, I want to mention sweating, whether you sit under the infrared light or you do exercise or whatever. Your liver loves sweating, and okay, super side note, but I can't help to add this. That is the element of that's where our anger sits too in Chinese medicine. So if anger management, I know that getting in a sweat and drinking water will help that part too and process that. Care for your pancreas. So Slim and Sassy soft gels are using the essential oils. It's great for metabolism and regulating blood sugar. I know diabetics that use Slim and Sassy essential oil or the soft gels to help you release extra water or just the whole blood sugar regulation. The soft gels, just to mention, they just make it convenient so that you don't have to make it. But on the cheap, you could always just get empty gel caps. There's like 150, I think we sell for $4 or at your local health food store. And if you can make your own gel caps, but you just can't pre-make them because they'll melt. So there's about 5 or 6 soft gels that we have. There's nothing more than just the essential oil in them, but just a side note for convenience, you know, they ended up making them. Care for your adrenals. So I just learned this 2 years ago and I was like, wow. So I never used Mito 2 Max because I'm a coffee drinker. And I was like, I love tea. I love coffee. So that was enough to use for energy for me. I more so need stuff for calming. But I also learned that Mito 2 Max has powerful herbs in it to help with adrenal fatigue if that's something that you're recovering from. And I know just like when you are iron deficient, I learned that the hard way too, it takes a while for your body to recoup and then thrive with healthy iron levels, right? It takes weeks. So this can be a powerful herbal supplement. I don't remember the herb right now that's in it because I didn't study it real quick. But you can look that up and see the herbs that are in it, and you can take that for adrenal fatigue. Don't take it at late afternoon or nighttime. It is just herbal. There's no stimulant in it, but the herbs in it can give you energy. That's part of the reasoning there. So I would say if you did it twice a day, morning and like early afternoon. And then magnolia is really good for that care as well. And then care for your thyroid. Habits are critical. Check your nutrition, your stress levels, and your water supply. I would work with your doctor on this. I don't typically, if it's something with your thyroid, the essential oils for sure. Some of these are great. And then I always say refer to your doctor too in case there's something bigger. But clove, myrrh, frankincense, that's a great rollerball blend right now. And I've suggested that a lot with thyroid. 10 drops each of clove and myrrh, frankincense, and lemongrass. Great for thyroid aid, whether it's over or underproducing. And it's so great. I mean, that's the fun part about essential oils. You just apply it to, I think a lot of times people say, well, where do I put it? What do I do? As long as it's not, hot to the skin, you've diluted it, or too tingly, depending on your skin sensitivity, you're literally going to apply it where you want it to work. Or just so you know, when you put it on your body, it's going to go into your whole bloodstream. So you really can't go wrong with applying your oils. This is the kit. So I just had to include this. This is what it looks like if you order the kit. I think it's like the 60-ish price point. But there's some more information there if you want to go back to that. Teens can be taking the bone nutrient as well, which I love that. If that's something that you want your teen to also have with their developing bones. I did suggest this this. I have girls, I work with pre-point and girls getting their point shoes. And so we just started talking about nutrition a lot more last year and making sure that their bones are strong enough and they're eating well. This is just an example. We're going to go to your back office now, but this is just an example. If you're doing monthly ordering because you're getting the points back, here's an example, and what I like is like every month, my monthly ordering hits a different part of the house. So I'll do my facial products, and then I'll do my vitamins, and then I'll do my women's care, and then I have the kids stuff. And so then I'll do the cleaning products, and you space it out, and every few months you're hitting a different part of the home. And I put a printable checklist too. That is on my Instagram link. So you can have your little checklist. I give Daisha a clipboard, my daughter, and she goes and sees what we need. But this is just an example of hitting that 125, because when you hit that, you get the free oil of the month if you order that on or before the 15th. And then you're getting the percentage back that grows every 3 months. And after a year, you're at 30% back. And that's when you can cash in big time for oils like rose and Melissa and those things because you've got all those extra points, or I use them for gifts too. So that's just one idea, and you can make your wish list and see what was calling to you from today. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I log in. Well, actually, I'll come back to that at the very end. You would reach out. So Heather, you'd reach out to me, but if you're watching the recording, you'd reach out to the person that invited you to this class, because there's a few of us that teach the business and that we co-teach this. So you would go to who invited you, and any questions with anything about it. And these are some references. So the book that I mentioned already, I love the Flow app. That's been my favorite app to log my cycle. It's free. It has little reminders. It's easy to use. This book I got in my 30s. So it's like, this is like, look how old. I mean, this got shipped to Hawaii. That's how you know I love it. So this is like she used to be on Oprah in like the 80s. But Christiane Northrup is like, been around forever, and she dives into everything you want to know about our parts, our cycle, and all the things. And she just published a book on menopause. So actually I would suggest that too. I'm probably about there. A couple years ago she did. Her daughter has a great book. I blew through it on Audible, called Do Less, because I always have to remind myself of that. And she goes into quick chapters about why. She has printables, and that was fabulous. And then I love 4 Seasons in 4 Weeks. So this is a little bit more on the hippie side of things, but definitely goes into each week that you're in your cycle, and she puts it into seasons. And I love that because I stopped, like I'm going to start my period any day. I know that coming into the later part of this week and into the weekend and early next week, I won't expect much out of myself. I started to really cater my schedule around my cycle, and it was a game changer. And then of course, for me, the week after my period, right, that time of ovulation, I feel really good. So it goes into a deep why. So let's go to, here we go, not the Canva. Let's go to this. So I'm going to log in and just show you. Sometimes people get confused on the back office, and I get it. So we're going to do I always do a quick tutorial. So really simply, you just have different ways to order. So you simply, let me actually sign up. Nope, let me sign out. Sign out and sign in, really. Sorry. I should unmute you guys too really quick. So you simply go and you're going to log in. You go to doTERRA.com. Everybody does. This is the same process for everybody. Come on, little chicken. There it goes. My internet's slow. And then you enter your ID number and your password. And usually most, love that way to save all this. And then when this pops up, the first thing that will pop up is this. If you have a monthly order template, that's right here on the right. And if you don't, there will be a question if you want to create that. Or you can always just do a one-time order. But no matter what, when you log in here, you're getting 25% off, and you are, giving credit to whoever the person that enrolled you. They're getting credit for your order or getting the commission. So really simply, you log in. If you're doing a one-time order, you click that. You're going to add things to the cart and check out. That simple. You're going to always get 25% off, and you can play around. You can look this way. You can go up here and look at all the different ways you can look at stuff. And it's really simple. With the monthly ordering, you want to go into your loyalty cart first. So you're basically telling your back office that this is where you want to play, is in here, because otherwise it won't go here. So once I'm in there, and this is what I got, dear Lord, I don't even know what the heck. I just play with this until it's the time to order. So on the 8th, I have an alarm on my phone, and I make sure that this is ready to go. And you basically take things off or add things. You can pick where you're going to ship it. You can pick when you're on the mainland, you have different delivery methods. We have like one out here. You can put in different cards. You can put in email address, receipts, all of that. And so you can do a quick ad right here. And you're going to always add first and then take away. And yeah, you could pick your order date, right? Like I could pick a different date right there if I wanted to ship on a different day. So far the purple are all taken up, but I could do a black day. However, actually to get around the system, you would just hit process now if I wanted to get it now and not wait for the 9th. And then that would count for my August order. And that's it. Before you play around, like let's say I took peppermint off of here, you want to make sure you hit save, or else it's always going to remember what you did last. That's the only funky thing sometimes people get in trouble for. So you can edit it every month, but make sure you press save. And last thing is, these are the points up here. So look I have a ton of points all of a sudden. I cashed in a bunch of points months ago, but now they just accrue because after 1 year, you're at 30% back. So, using your points on anything you can, you just click that and use your points towards what you want to use it for. Some of our products you cannot, supplements, not on every supplement can you, some you can. And that's that. So let me get out of here, and then let me get out of the screen save and see if you guys have any questions. Look at my messy desktop. All my friends are like, clean your desktop, but I like it. I know where everything is. It's like a messy room. Okay, I'm gonna go to gallery view, and yeah, so any questions? Wait, unmute all. Are you guys muted? Unmute. Okay, now you guys are unmuted. Kelly, you have to unmute if you want. Yeah, any questions or ads from your experience too?
I had to get the prescription route for my perimenopause because it was just nothing I was doing. No amount of oil was calming me down. And I unfortunately have hit a real evil moment where I get on my daughter's cycle.
Oh, wow.
So I am I'm not getting a period anymore because my doctor has me just taking birth control without a placebo week because I was kind of turning into a psycho person. And that has completely calmed me down. That and eating a lot more vegetables has completely, calmed me down. So I'm not having massive hot flashes anymore. Yeah. But on the other side of it, I get on my daughter's cycle. So I feel I'm not having a period, but I feel her PMS.
Oh, wow.
It's
like the symptomatic, what is it? Sympathy, they call it, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like, when you're a kid and you're hanging out with your girlfriends and you all get on the same cycle, it's like that kind of something, but I'm not actually having anything happen. So it's just horrible. So I've been having to like oil her up more.
Oh man. Well, and see that, I think that's a beautiful, Heather knows, I don't know if you know Kelly, but my father, he's retired now, but 46 years ER doctor. I totally believe in medical as well and using all of that as well. And I love using both in my family, don't shy away from using meds as you need them. And then like Heather, you're a perfect case where you found a successful med and you can use oils or what have you, eating more vegetables, like you said, in addition, and it all helps. It's wonderful. So I'm so glad that you found.
Yeah, I oddly lucked out in that the doctor that I'm seeing in San Luis, of all places, why she's here, she's a menopause specialist.
Perfect.
And she's here in San Luis. So I'm like, oh, all right. And she's like, I've gone through it, and the doctor that delivered your daughter has gone through it because they're, partners in the same practice. She's like, if you ever need to talk to us, we're here. But it's been nutty. But I like for a while before my husband was going crazy because I was oiling so much.
Yeah.
All the time. Like the pets didn't want to get near me. And I'm like, I'm sorry. But I still keep, I have one in my purse and one at work, though I'm not there because of all the shutdown, bed table, everywhere. I've got these little atomizer bottles of water and peppermint oil for hot flash relief.
Yes.
It's amazing. And if you have a ceiling fan, it's even better. Rinse your whole self and then ceiling fan. And it's just all good.
Like, oh, I can deal. Yes. Okay. Yes. So I'll double that. I'll say that. Just living on an island. Yes to the peppermint. Any of the mints, but peppermint is my favorite too.
Yeah.
Oil of the buoyant heart too. So it makes you happy. Super invigorating, and it's tingly, and it just feels good, and you just feel like you can catch your breath when you're just so hot. Yes.
Yeah.
I had a woman in class, Auntie Mare. She's a dear customer for years. She was having the hugest hot flash, ironically, in the middle of this class. So we actually made her a compress. So we just got a cold washcloth and put peppermint on it, and I wrung it out, and I put it on her neck and shoulder. So if it's that bad too, you can just put a wet towel on you.
Oh, I've done that before.
Peppermint. I was like, she was like, thank you. She was just melting, like we were spraying her. But typically a nice mist is, I love that. Good.
Yeah. The worst was going camping 2 summers ago with my husband's family because it was a very berry state park. And so you couldn't keep anything in your tent. You had to lock everything up. Wow. And my husband's cousin had rented a U-Haul trailer to use as a giant bear box. So all of our food went in there. Like I had to pack my oils away. I'm like, I hope I don't have a hot flash tonight. It's gonna suck. I can't get to it till the morning. And then I'm like all oiled up. And I'm like, are the bears gonna, I'm asking the ranger, are the bears gonna be attracted to my oils? He's like, I don't know, maybe. Good luck.
I was curious about that. Alex led our pet class a couple weeks ago. Fascinating, because I do kids. So I'm learning so much. And then my kids are watching one of these Nat Geo shows on like the zoos, right? The zookeepers. And I was thinking that day, I was like, I wonder if zoos use it. That would be so awesome if it was like helpful, to like the bears and the flamingos. And who knows? Yeah, but they're sensitive to it. So it's good you were paying attention to that, because I did learn that cats especially are, they can be really sensitive, but they're very helpful too. Kelly, do you have any questions?
No questions. I've just found that lately, like I feel like my body's been a lot different lately, and I think it's time to go get checked out because my husband cannot stand to be around me for every month. So, but really relying on Claricalm and like going through darn near a bottle a month of that stuff has been a huge lifesaver. That and just getting a little bit more sleep during that time has been super helpful. But yeah, it's kind of,
I really think after I saw her. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What?
That's it.
Oh, that was it. Sorry. I just really, truly, I think as I'm approaching now late 40s, I just really feel the wisdom, the emotional piece to it, or the healing piece to it, is just trusting that slower is still just as efficient. And I just find it's actually really enjoyable, because you get wiser. And so you can bang out things quicker because you don't really mess around, right? And then you have more time to rest and recoup. I still have it's not like natural for me still, but at least I understand it now. And I think that is such a lesson, because our bodies just can't go as fast. Like we can't drink as much. All the things, right? I need more sleep. I can't, but if we look at it from a positive viewpoint, it's like, and that's a beautiful thing actually. So it's just getting everybody else on board to know, this is my mode right now. Daisha, my oldest, knows. She's like, sweet, more TV time. Yep. Well, scoot over. Anyways, well, my love and light to you. Any follow-up questions, let me know. I will add, probably my next newsletter, I'll add the link to, it wasn't my last newsletter too, but if you click the link in my newsletter that says, recorded classes with the password gets you to all of them. So this will be there. And then, oh, Kelly, we got to finish that. We keep making these extra PDFs because we're so extra. So I need to get that Google Drive folder accessible too. I just have to get that link. So we got to add the rest of them, but we'll have that too. So this PowerPoint and then all of our PowerPoints, there's 2 in there already. So I'll get the Google folder, all these techie things, Heather, which you know. Oh, oy vey.
Deal with it on a daily basis at work.
Yes. So Google folder in the Drive, as long as it's public, I can attach it and anybody can get to it, right? Just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can make it so it's shareable only with the link. Though